saying like, what lineage is this in Buddhism? And I'm like, well, the thing is, like, I have a Tibetan Lama, but this is not necessarily Tibetan Buddhism. And like, I've been to the Zen Center, but I'm not a Zen, you know. And I've been to Shambhala many times, but this is not Shambhala. Really, this is your basic Buddhism. It's all about bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is like, well, bodhicitta means the awakened mind, but it's really a heart thing. You cultivate in your heart a sincere desire to wake up so that you can learn to help the world. It's the idea that because, speaking for myself, I have a very limited ability to help the world. I'm a redneck that grew up in Floresville, you know, limited education or whatever. So Kylie has a limited capability to help others reach enlightenment. But with this stirring up bodhicitta, stirring up the desire to have an awakened mind, to heal my own wounds, to heal my own traumas, to work on myself, it's going to expand my ability to help others in this world. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so I always like to start out, even though this is not necessarily Tibetan Buddhism, I do have to show my gratitude to my Lama, Lama Tuku Sori Dechen Rinpoche. And the reason is, I kind of think of this story of this guy named Atisha, who is a famous Buddhist master. And Atisha, he trained under 700 different teachers in his life. But there was this one teacher named Sarah Lingpa. You could say the names of all these 700 teachers, and Atisha would just, you know, yeah, he was a good teacher, he was a good guy, or whatever. But if anybody brought up Sarah Lingpa, this one guy, Atisha's eyes would fill with tears, and he would climb down and do prostrations at the very sound of his teacher's name. And so that's how I feel about my teacher, Lama Tuku Sori Dechen Rinpoche. And some of y'all have met him. Raise your hand if y'all have met Lama Tuku. Okay. The rest of you guys will meet him, believe me. He's going to come and do teachings here. But just by some karmic connections from some past life, I was able to meet him at the San Antonio airport. And I was a drunk, and I was, you know, my life was falling apart when I met Lama Tuku. And if I'm sitting here dressed and in my right mind right now, it's because of that man's kindness and compassion that he poured into my life. So I'll come here and I will definitely speak to you and try to help lead Woke House with my limited capabilities, but I do it only to repay the kindness that my Lama poured into my life. Okay? So we're studying the Dhammapada, and we'll read the first verse, and then we'll do our chanting and stuff. So the next verse in the Dhammapada that we're studying is called, and it's not in your books yet, but I'll read it to you. It says, "You too shall pass away. Knowing this, how can you quarrel or argue? How easily the wind overturns a frail tree. Seek happiness in the senses, indulge in food and sleep, and you too will be uprooted. The wind cannot overturn a mountain. Temptation cannot touch the man or woman who is awake, strong, and humble, who masters themselves and minds the law." So when they're talking about indulging in food and sleep, in Buddhism, the key teaching is moderation. Anything that you do in moderation. Anything that you don't do in moderation is actually can be harmful. And also it brings up arguing and fighting with other people. And it says when you do these things, you're not purifying your mind. You're not creating karma that's going to help you in the future. Now, we all grew up hearing the word karma, right? Like, dude, don't drink your grandma's last beer. That's bad karma, right? But in Buddhism and Hinduism, it's literally super, super, super about, like, merit and karma, right? So you might not hold this belief, but in the Buddhist culture and Hinduism, we believe in reincarnation, right? So all these past lives, and in all these past lives, our thoughts, words, and actions have affected all these future lives. You know, everything I did in my past life has got me into this life, right? And so in Buddhism, everything that you do, you know, like personally, I love when I'm in a situation where somebody in front of me is like having a problem with their credit card, and I'm like, I'll pay for that. Let me pay for that. Please let me pay for that. And they're like, hey, you know, and I'm like, please, please, you know. And it's like, please, please. And they're like, okay, pay for it, you know. Because it feels like, oh my God, the universe gave me an opportunity to help somebody, you know. That's like, boom, that's good karma, right? And so I go through my life like that, looking for ways to help other people. And I guess it could be in a kind of a selfish thing, but it makes me feel so good that I've invested into this account of good karma that is not only beneficial to me, but it just spreads around the world. You know, that favor creates good karma that creates other favors and other good things, and that person will probably leave and do something. You know, anyway, so another aspect of karma is that it's not blame, right? So things are going to happen to you in this life, you know, and it's not necessarily putting any blame. This, you know, this life in Buddhism is kind of like a school. We're here to learn these things, and it's okay to mess up. It's okay to screw up. It's okay to not know right now. We're all doing the best we can. That's why we have all these lives, to go to class all these different times to learn new things, right? And so eventually, the end result is that we're all going to be enlightened, and it's okay. There's nothing we got to sweat, because it's just going to naturally happen, okay? So it's okay to be where you are, and if some bad things are happening in your life right now, don't sweat. Like, I probably screwed up in a past life, man. Yeah, it's okay. It's all okay, okay? All right, so let's do our chants. And I'm actually